Well, it is our August recap video. And if you hear the kids in the back, it's okay. They're just laughing at the show that they are watching. And we figured, what better way to update you on our life than in the middle of an I-85 traffic jam just outside the Charlotte airport.
Woohoo!
So we paused our little worship jam session that we had going on in the car to update you all on what's been going on in our lives in the month of August.
Also, if I don't look at you, it's because I'm driving.
Once again, somehow when we always do these, Mandy ends up driving, and
which is not usually the case.
It is not.
Like 95% of the time, Jeff drives.
Hey! Stay awake! Knights of Columbus Dale!
So we've got like a good Baptist preacher, at least that's what I always joke about in front of churches. We have 3 P's for you about our month in August. And so the first one is kind of our update, but it's also full of a bunch of praises and thank yous for praying in previous months for us. So
it's a lot of P's.
That is a
praying
lot.
in previous
I guess when you get on
previous pastimes
the letter
of prayer
P thing, it just rolls off the tongue for a Baptist pastor. Anyway.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Our first really big praise is that Manny made this joke that I had a good missions conference in Illinois while she stayed home with all of the crazy.
Now, I had a good week.
You had a great week?
It was, but I was not at the conference. So You were like, we had a good conference. I was like, you had a good conference.
And I did. So God introduced us to First Baptist Church in Colchester, Illinois, and it was a great church for me to go and introduce EBI to them, something that they were not familiar with, just like a lot of churches that I go to. They don't know that EBI exists or what EBI does, and so it's just a great opportunity to share what God is doing in our lives and in our hearts, but also to let people know that EBI is out there for the Spanish-speaking church. And so it was just a really, really good time of sharing our work, sharing our calling, but also getting to know people in a different part of the world. Quite frankly, I actually crossed the Mississippi River, which I know for a lot of you, you're like, okay, woohoo, good job, Jeff, like, yay. But that was a big thing for me. It took me 33 years to go that far west. And so between that and the great meeting, that was a huge praise. Thank you for praying for our family in this while Logan started school and Mandy stayed back at home to be with the kids. Everything went flawlessly, including the flight travel. And so no hiccups, no nothing. It was great. Our second praise is that Logan got to start kindergarten. So Mandy, since I wasn't there, how did it go?
He was a little bit nervous on the first couple days, but every time that we've picked him up from school, he has a big old smile on his face. He loves his teacher and the other kids in his class. He's making lots of friends, and he just loves going to school. We actually, last weekend, we were telling him that he had Saturday off, and then he's like, and then I go back to school, and we're like, no, it's Sunday, and he's like, oh, but I want it to be Monday. I want to go back to school. So that we are taking as a huge blessing, and we're just so thrilled that he loves going to school, and hopefully he'll carry that on through the rest of the year.
As the sun begins to set right in our faces,
woohoo!
Our third thing is it's a praise, but also it will kind of transition into our prayer request as well, and it's what we're doing this weekend. It's why we're in the minivan as missionaries.
Going to a meeting.
And we are actually going to a meeting. At first, there we go, okay. At first it was just going to be a conference, which was going to be an amazing thing. We're actually going to a pastor's conference that is just for Hispanic pastors, and we're going to be selling EBI books at the conference, and also just networking with pastors to see if they would have any time to have coffee or schedule us in to present at their churches, which is just fantastic. Like, it's just a great networking opportunity, and it also allows us, even at 36%, to actually do some work for EBI, which is just really good for Mandy and I. Both our souls are just going to be really good with that this weekend. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, we also get the opportunity to present at a Spanish-speaking church plant in Greenville, South Carolina on Sunday evening. and they want us to present our whole ministry and preach. It'll be my first time with a translator, and so I'm a little nervous because I've never experienced this thing before, but we're also really excited because this is exactly what our ministry is about. It's about getting these discipleship resources, these training materials, these kids ministry resources into the hands of Spanish speakers so that they can strengthen and deepen their walk with God. And so that going into this weekend is just overarchingly such a big praise for us.
And it's been a really cool experience that our whole family gets to go this trip, because obviously Jeff going to the conference in Illinois, it was only him because Logan was starting school, but Logan's really only missing a half a day tomorrow because they have an early dismissal and we have Monday off. So it was just something where our whole family's able to go. We get to spend the time together. The kids get to see a really cool experience because they've never been in a situation with only Spanish speaking pastors.
And it's funny because we're trying to talk a little bit more Spanish at home, just in like little sentences that we know, and Kinley will always be like, "Daddy, talk regular, not in Spanish." And so hopefully this is an opportunity to introduce them to the language itself, but also the culture and some of the differences that are in it, but also get them excited about it as well.
We have 3 prayer requests that we would like you to join us in. The first is for this conference that's coming up. I mean, Jeff and I have done a Spanish-speaking conference before, but this is the first time with the kids, and then it's also the first time speaking at a Spanish church plant. And so just a lot of new things that are happening, and we also have to figure out how to run like the credit card machine and that kind of stuff. So lots of little things that are not bad and will probably go fine, but are just making us a little nervous as we start off this trip.
Well, and the amount of confidence that people have in us right now, they're like, "Oh yeah, we just sent the credit card machine down, and oh, you're going to be the new people in the office. You're the youngest in the office.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine."
And we're like,
okay, great.
I think it should be fine.
So the confidence is reassuring and it's nice, but at the same time, it's like you never know what the Wi-Fi or cell signal is going to be like, if you need internet connection, if there's an account attached to it, and all of those things. That technology is lovely when it works, but is never your best friend when it doesn't. So we're just kind of working through those jitters. And I think our second one is please pray, and we alluded to this in our last video, but please pray for the churches that have their quarterly business meetings coming up. It's getting to be about that time where if a church is going to vote on missions, and they maybe do it in the third quarter or something like that, it's about that time of year. And we have a few churches that have told us that we are on their ballot. And we joke that, oh, it's an election year and at least we're on the ballot, but we would love to be supported by these churches. But we also understand that funds are limited, and we're not the only ones on a lot of these church ballots to vote on for missionary support. And so we just want wisdom and guidance for these churches that are voting, and maybe it's a voting season in your church as well. And so we're praying for you, but if you would just pray for us, and that God would see fit to allow what needs to happen, not only for our support, but other missionaries who are doing the work of the ministry. And so we're just really excited for this time of year in our church circles, and I think we just need to bathe in prayer.
Lastly, we're praying that we can fill up the rest of our schedule for 2024. It might seem like it's a little impossible, but with God, all things are possible, and He knows every church that we're supposed to be in.
We also seem to be the king and queen of being the missionaries' pastor's call when other missionaries back out of a meeting or a conference. Like, that's happened to us now 3 times this year. And so, not that we want it to happen that way, but if God would open some doors in however way He sees fit, that would be really, really neat. And we'd like to see a couple more meetings and just have our schedule fill up just a little bit more. All right, our last P is partnering. Exactly. We almost did that on cue without really even knowing we were going to do that.
Yeah, except you
I'm going to keep that in there.
Partners.
So, partners. So here are 3 ways that you can partner with us. We are looking for 10 new partners.
No hands.
By the end of the year at $100.
Our goal is to add 10 new partners.
By the end of this year.
Woo!
And then, because we like good round numbers, we want to add 100 new prayer partners just to our email list. Because we say this all the time at churches, and so we want to say it here publicly to you. When a missionary says that they believe prayer is the best form of support that they can receive,
we believe it.
we genuinely believe that. And so we want to add 100 new prayer partners to our email list so that they can see not only these videos, but also just continue to keep us in prayer as they walk about their life.
We believe that God can move mountains. We have a big mountain of needing support, and we are praying that God will move that mountain.
Yes.
And we want you to join us.
Mandy and I have, so an encouraging thing for all of you, as a side note, Mandy and I have been on a journey together to improve our prayer life, but also not just like improve the maybe consistency or quality of our prayer life, but to start praying bigger prayers and start believing in the God who can make those big prayers come to life. And so we're really on this journey of enriching our prayer life, enriching opportunities to bring things to the Lord that sometimes we may have felt was silly to bring to God. And now we're like, you know what? God has us doing this, and we want to do this so he gets everything. And so we're a little bit more surrendered now than we ever have been. I think it's a really good place, healthy place for us to be in right now. Our last partner point
Woohoo!
is we would like to see 5 more scheduled meetings in 2024. I know that was a prayer request, but to prove that it's a serious prayer request and it's an actual goal that we have, I'd like to add 5 more meetings to our schedule before the end of the year. And so if you're in a church where maybe your pastor would like a Sunday off, or maybe you're looking for a missions emphasis Sunday and somebody dropped out, give us a call. We're pretty much available all of September and November of this year. And of course, we're not going to ever throw out December either. If you want us up in December, we can make missions and Christmas jive well together too. So we're looking for 5 new meetings before the end of 2024 on top of whatever we have scheduled as well. So that is our August update. Thank you for tuning in. And now we get to fix some battery issues with the kids' DVD player in the van. Remember how I said technology isn't your friend when it doesn't work?
This has been missionaries in minivans going to meetings.
Until next time, see you later.
Who are you going to call? The Butlers.
The Butlers.
TBI. Not Ghostbusters.
No, not
The Butlers.
Ghostbusters. The Holy Ghostbusters. Oh, we're going to jail for that one.